Hey there, you beautiful badass. Welcome to the Carrie Croft Show. I'm your host, Carrie Croft, delivering you stories that get you pumped up and feeling like the unstoppable savage that you are. So grab your coffee, put on your game face, and let's do this thing, baby. Avena Women's Care is a collective of 40-plus providers that have been serving Central Ohio communities with comprehensive women's health care for decades. They meet women where they are in every phase of life. From fertility services to menopause care, annual checkups to 3D mammography, Avena provides robust services for all. So for the highest level of individualized women's health care, there's one name to remember: Avena Women's Care. Go to www.avenawomenscare.com to request an appointment. Be sure to tell them Carrie sent you. Ready to elevate your self-care game? Boss Gal Beauty Bar is a modern med spa offering everything from cosmetic injectables, lasers and microneedling, to medical-grade facials and skincare. Conveniently located in Clintonville, Grandview, Powell, and Easton, making self-care a priority has never been easier. Use code CROFT for $25 off your first visit. Summer's coming in hot, but is your skin summer ready? Fine lines, sun damage, melasma. If these are cramping your vibe, the Moxie laser at Donaldson will leave you glowing. Nervous about lasering your face? I tried Moxie and it was quick and gentle, perfect for first-timers and all skin types. And my results? 10 out of 10. And if you're a first-timer at Donaldson, mention the Carrie Croft Show for $100 off your Moxie treatment. Don't say I've never done anything for you.
And he was like, but I liked you kind of. And I'm like, well, I mean, I thought you were real handsome and charming, but I didn't think that there would be a relationship.
Right.
You know?
That's so great. Okay,
So,
well, we'll get to that.
well-
We will get to that.
Everybody's always like, are you still with him? I'm like, yes, it's shocking.
And then he lives here?
He lives in Powell.
Oh, okay.
So we're now looking for a house, which is like
Together?
impossible to find a house right now in
Oh,
this
I'm
market.
sure. Yeah. Sarah Gormley, welcome to the Carrie Croft Show.
Thank you for having me.
You know, we're finally here together.
Yay.
I love talking to people who've actually sat down and written a book. It's like one of my dreams to be able to write a book. So when someone does it and does it so successfully as you have,
Have
I'm
you
like,
starout yours yet?
I mean, yeah, I've got like
You will.
I've got a mess of like things in a Google Doc, but yeah, it's just that's like it's like so out of my depth.
It's not. Do it. You'll love it.
So was it something you always thought about doing, or when you met that woman and she said you should write a book, was that like the first time it like hit you that you should write a book? How did that all come about?
God, that's such a good story. I tried to like be humble, but I've always been a good writer.
Yeah.
I was writing poetry as a kid and in high school, and I was a lit major. So writing is just something that's like in me. And I suppose somewhere in the back of the mess of the mind, I thought maybe one day I'd like to write a book, but honestly didn't think I had anything meaningful to say. And never fiction, always first person narrative, memoir. And so somewhere I thought it could be a possibility, but I didn't think I had something to write about until 2019.
Was the title a struggle?
This was not the original title. The original title was This Is What You Need to Know. Pretty ambiguous. And the new title, the actual title, The Order of Things, is still a little nebulous, right? It doesn't, it's like, what the hell is that book about? Only when I added the subhead, which is a memoir about chasing joy, did it really come together. And I didn't realize that I was chasing joy until I finished writing the book. The word joy doesn't even appear anywhere in the book until the last chapter. So anyway, it's a process, and you have to do it because you learn so much about yourself, and it's so convoluted, and it's, you just have to commit and do it. And if you do, you will write a book. I think everyone should write a book. I'm like the book pimp. I'm like, do it, write a book.
Yeah, because I mean, even if you sell them or, like if it's externally, whatever the success is measured by. But to your point, I think you would learn a lot about who you are And it's like probably a really cool process to go through internally.
It is. And, you know, parts of it are very painful. It's a little bit like, you know, bleeding from the veins on the page.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit of emotional excavation, maybe. So, you know, and then memory is very tricky. You think, is that what happened? Is that what we talked about? Is that right? And I don't know. But then fun too. I had a lot of laughs. I mean, there was a spoiler alert. I came back home to Ohio. Mom's cancer was back. And there's a scene in the book, and it sounds made up, where like we just stood on the porch and yelled fuck at each other at the top of our lungs because, you know, it was bad. But in the writing process, I found humor because I'm like, that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
You know, it's pretty funny that a woman and her adult daughter just standing on the porch yelling fuck at each other as loud as they could.
But how raw and real. I mean, because there's really nothing else to say.
Exactly.
You know, it's like fuck. And like the way you wrote it in there too, it's like the fuck is like this long, you know, so you can actually picture you guys having that conversation, but it's like fucking fuck. You know, why?
And so, yes, the writing, I've done some pretty cool things in my life and hope to do more. But I mean, writing the book and actually committing to it and doing it, I'm really proud of it. Yeah. And it's the book I wanted to write, and it's the best book I could write. Yeah. So I'm proud of it.
Yeah, and you should be. It's really good.
Thank you.
So going back to what you just said about there were really hard parts, looking back on the writing process, what were some of the harder parts for you to really sit with and write?
The first two things that came up, and I say this in the book, I'm going to answer in two ways. The week she dies. And I say, like, I've been procrastinating. I didn't want to write this part because I wanted to show readers what happened and be as truthful as possible and honor her. Because in hindsight now, increasingly every year that passes, like, she managed her death so beautifully. And I think, you know, she did it for herself, but I think she did it for us, my brother and sister and me. And to be able to do that is a gift. You know, she was able to die at home at the family farm, her favorite place on earth. It was peaceful, and she was lucid until the day before. And so I wanted each day to share a scene or two of what the experience was like, because for people who have gone through it, there's nothing quite as profound. I don't know. Have you been through it?
Not in that detail of like being with someone for that, but yeah, like my grandma passed, and like it's definitely, it's a whole thing. It's
a real thing.
Yeah.
So that was hard to write about. The other thing that was hard to write about was my relationship with her that was complicated. And there's a line in the book, and the relationship between a mother and a daughter is no tidy thing. Like, it's not. And I wanted, again, to show that while the relationship had some complexities, it was fueled by love and care. And it took me some therapy of my own to start to see her as her own person that had nothing to do with me. And that's tip to viewers and listeners. That's where the emotional growth is. It's hard to get there sometimes.
Yeah, because you as a child, every, I think, perspective you have on your parent is attached to you or your lens.
Yeah.
So when you can see them as just a flawed, scared human being out there on their own,
doing the best she can with what she has.
Yeah.
So that was hard to write, again, because I wanted it to be accurate and show how I changed and how my perception of her changed and how, we did the best we could.
Let's go back to your own, like your depression and kind of this self-loathing stuff that you feel like you just always had inside of you. Can you give the listener a little more?
Yes. And it's interesting that you say depression because I didn't ever name it that. So from the time I was a little girl, increasing into teenagedom and young adulthood, I think of it as a cassette tape. Those do not exist anymore because I'm old as hell. But like a running loop. Imagine a loop on a film and it was just a constant inner voice of you're a piece of shit. You suck. You're not good enough. You're fat. You're ugly. And unlike depression, for instance, it didn't debilitate me. I wasn't not getting out of bed. I didn't go inward. What happened is that the self-loathing was a motivator. So I became an overachiever. And it took me a long time to untangle. Like, I was like, I don't understand. I think what the world wants from me, I thought what my parents wanted from me was to be smart and skinny and successful. And so I just did those things. And I don't say it lightly, but it appeared to everybody else that it was easy for me to accomplish things and do things. But I thought that I needed the voice to motivate me because I was showing that negative voice that I named Scott Kennedy, who was the second grade bully. So I don't know if that answers your question, but that's what it felt like. And I didn't realize because the world is giving you the gold stars, right? You keep getting the raises, you keep getting the bigger job. And your friends, I was smart and funny and they all liked me. So it is. And there are a lot of women in particular who have this, I've since learned from after writing the book. Name a woman in your head who you think looks amazing, who's got it all going on, and dig a little deeper, and she might have some of this. Not all, but too many women in particular, I think, do.
Where did the skinny thing come from when you were really young?
The skinny thing, my mom went on diets, drank Tab and Fresca and did Atkins, and it was a control thing.
But it wasn't anything anyone said to you. It was just more you saw your mom doing the diets, you saw that she was thin.
And society said thin is good. So you just, thin is good, thin is better. Right. And so I was like, okay, well, let's go be thin. And frankly, be as thin as possible because thin is good.
Yeah, because you mentioned anorexia and that you were obsessed with being thin and you'd get in the bathtub and look at your hip bones and all of that. How long did that go on for?
I would say it started with really controlling, calories at around 16. And I would say that 16 to sophomore year of college, junior year of college, there was stuff. And I'm glad you brought this up because it's one of the things that I'm very sensitive about, the way I wrote about it and making sure that it's not a disservice to other people who are suffering. Give me a second. So the way I handled it was by myself because I knew I had a problem and I decided that I can't be a woman who has an eating disorder because that doesn't line up with being smart, skinny, and successful. You can be skinny, but you can't have an eating disorder because people who have an eating disorder have a disorder. And I couldn't do that. Now, Does that make sense to anyone but me? Probably not. A lot of people need help. A lot of people need a lot of therapy. A lot of people need clinics with professionals. And so I am not suggesting that other people can help themselves with disordered eating without external help. And so I was sensitive to that in the book. Again, I wanted to be as truthful as possible. But that's, and I still have some stuff, Now I'm into the menopausal stuff, so that's super fun.
There's always stuff.
There's always stuff. So, I'm not walking around in a bikini celebrating my body every day. Let's be clear.
Right.
I have a much better handle on what health means.
Yeah. So you dabbled, which people have, like they've dabbled in, binging and purging, and like it doesn't mean you're necessarily going to need to go into the hospital and need intervention. Sometimes people can work themselves through phases of things.
Yes.
So it's kind of what happened with you.
I had a good 4 to 5 years committed to
being
starving myself.
Okay. And then you kind of like
I just
evolved out of it.
Yeah, evolved out of it.
Yeah, which you're not the only one that's done that.
And
so you were really successful professionally.
Well, relatively.
I think, and then you get fired from Martha Stewart.
Oh, yes.
And I want to know, how did you know her?
Yes.
So you know her?
If she saw me today, she would pretend like she didn't know me. And she would be like, I don't even know who that is, probably. But it's okay.
But she knows you.
She knows me. We had some funny times.
What did you think about her documentary?
You know what? I thought the documentary was really well done. I read her complaint about it, which was at the end. They had her kind of walking into the woods, and it seemed like a death sequence. And I agreed with her. I'm like, that was a little rough. But I thought it was a fairly accurate portrayal from my experience. She is smart and funny and inquisitive. One of the most curious people I've ever met. And she doesn't like it if anyone disagrees with her, even people she hires. So it makes it pretty hard to run a business.
Did you like working for her?
No. But, it was very clear that I was in an impossible role. So I'm not the first person to help get myself through an eating disorder, and I'm not the first person to be fired by Martha Stewart. Right. So
yeah, so you get fired from there. Was it like how traumatizing, or was it like okay?
A little, because I didn't know how long it would take to get the next job, and it took, almost a year to find the next thing. No, it wasn't so traumatizing. And in hindsight, I shouldn't have taken the job. Even through the interview process, people would I remember because I was meeting with the other senior executives, and why do you want to work here, Sarah?
Are you sure you want to work here?
Yeah. So it was an experience.
Well, and you made some comment that the more successful you got, the more miserable you were.
Well, and that is not all organizations, but many big companies, publicly traded companies in particular, even nonprofits. The more senior you are, the more political it gets. You get further away from doing the thing, making the thing, providing the service. And then you get into what is the strategy? What did we agree to do? Why didn't that work? Whose fault is it? Who gets the budget? And so the kind of the beauty of the thing, you're more removed from. Mm-hmm. And I also didn't start therapy until 40. So that was in play. I don't know what it would be like if I went back to a big, quote unquote, normal job today. I think I would have a very different experience because I'm a healthier person emotionally.
Was therapy just a total game changer in your life?
Ugh, yes. And I make that noise because it's like nobody wants to hear about my fucking therapy. But
you never know.
But yes, all of the good things, the best things in my life would not exist today had I not started therapy. A lot you can talk about, serendipity, coincidence, fate, I'm like, no, therapy.
Yeah.
Once you have a healthy relationship with yourself, every relationship in your life gets better.
Yeah. Do you still go?
Yes. Tuesdays at 11. I had to reschedule this week, Carrie. David says hi.
That's amazing. But it is, I mean, it really, you talk about writing a book is therapeutic and you learn so much about yourself. You're not going to learn, if you get a good therapist, you will learn a lot about who you are and how you operate and how you can.
And still, 12 years in, I'm like, oh, so much to learn.
Yeah.
He's like, I think this is a learning opportunity. I'm like, oh my God.
So today you own an art gallery.
I do.
And so tell the listener, so how did that sort of interest and love, I know you had gotten a piece of art, I think from your mom. Was it your mom?
Grandma.
Your grandma.
Grandma Cameron.
And kind of like turn the light on for you. But like, how did your life lead you to going, oh, I want to own an art gallery?
So yes, I talk about in the book, my grandma Cameron bought me my first piece of art, original art, when I graduated from DePauw. And there was something that happened in that moment that just stayed with me. So my classmate, Matt Wentz, happened to be in the art center with his mom before the ceremony. And I was in the art center to show Grandma Cameron this piece. And she was like, it's abstract. I don't understand it, but if you love it, I will buy it for you. And she counted out $100 bills to this kid, Matt. It was the first piece of art he ever sold. And it stuck with me. The magic and joy in that moment, frankly. Like, he created something that moved me so much that I wanted to own it. And like that is pretty freaking cool. So then life happened and I went on, and it never occurred to me to try to make a career out of it. Probably a good thing. It's a tough business.
We'll get to that. I have questions.
So then I just started buying art that I loved as I could afford it. I moved to New York, bought a piece of art for $200. It's a little abstract called Yankee Stadium. Looks like the crowd. Now it hangs in my powder room. And so I just started buying art, and it got to the point where friends would come over to these apartments in New York. They would be like, how do you have so much art? And I would basically say, well, how do you not? Like, it's available to all of us. You just have to, it was a passion.
Mm-hmm.
So then one thing led to another. I moved from New York to San Francisco, came home from San Francisco to be with Mom. And I vowed I didn't work for a full year. I needed a break from corporate life, and I didn't know what was happening with her. She passed away. I came home in November of 17. She passed in February of 18. And I was like, Sarah, no matter what, do not work. Get a full year to get it off of you. And then moved to Columbus and started doing some consulting. And I was like, ooh, this feels like what I was doing before. I'm making slides. I'm writing documents.
This feels like a PowerPoint.
I don't know. And Columbus is amazing. Like, where else, in what other city can someone overhear you say, this is when I was like a pop-up gallery, because I still had the art thing. I'm like, I just need to get it out of my system. I'll do a pop-up. 3 months. And so I was living on High Street at the time, and someone from the wood companies overheard me talking about it, sent me an email and said, we have a space for you. So I opened the gallery in April of 19. Because Columbus enables things like that to happen.
No, it's an incredible city. It's got to be a grind of a business.
Oh,
let's cut the shit. Cut the crap.
Well, here's the deal. The product itself is entirely subjective and a luxury good, in essence. Not luxury by cost, but luxury. Nobody has to own original art. So it's a rough business. That said, you don't have to buy inventory. Mm-hmm. So a typical gallery split is 50-50. You have Daniel Rona paintings in here. I represent Daniel. So he brings the paintings in for a show. There's no financial exchange, only if something sells. So it is easier than some retail businesses from that standpoint. But yeah, I'm not having the best year. It's a little rough. So we'll see.
Yeah, I can imagine this year too with just everything happening in the world. People aren't exactly thinking about original art as like the top
Priority. No. And so we'll see. We're going to just have to hustle differently.
How do you how do you do it? Do you I would think you'd have, you have your sort of sector of like clients you get to know, and you're like, oh,
Yes.
this would look lovely in your foyer.
I say it just like that.
This would be
look
beautiful
lovely
in
in your foyer, because there's an accent with art.
this would look marvelous in your pool room.
You must have this piece.
And so you're just kind of like, how do you sell it most of the time? Is it just like that? Or you like people just walk, like how do you?
Stress and inflammation take a toll on your body and your wellness. Relax, restore, and rejuvenate at Panacea Luxury Spa Boutique. Book any service of $100 or more and enjoy 2 hours in our luxury amenities. Unwind in our Himalayan salt saunas. Recharge in our wet retreat space with a eucalyptus steam room, hot hydrotherapy pool, and cold plunge. Then drift into deep relaxation with our hanging loungers. What's your panacea? We'll help you find it. Listen, nobody loves laundry day. But thanks to the Fluff, laundry is officially off your to-do list. Just schedule your pickup on the Fluff app, toss your dirty clothes in any bag you've got, and leave it on your front porch. The Fluff handles the rest, returning your laundry fresh, folded, and in our reusable vinyl bag in just 24 to 48 hours. Flat rate pricing means you stuff the bag full, and yes, pickup and delivery are totally free in Central Ohio. Use promo code CARRY for 20% off your first order. P.S. Ask about our monthly subscription to keep life simple and your laundry done. Who says you need a special occasion to feel like a celeb? I mean, stress is real. Life is busy. And your scalp? Yeah, it deserves some love too. That's where Headspace by Mia Santiago comes in. Treat yourself or someone who deserves it to a luxurious scalp treatment and a killer blowout or cut, because nothing says main character energy, honey, like a fresh style from celebrity stylist Mia and her team. And because we love a good deal, mention the Carrie Croft Show and get 20% off your service or any gift card for somebody in your life that you love. Headspace by Mia Santiago, because great hair days shouldn't be rare.
Well, the rhythm for the physical gallery is shows. So I have a show opening Wednesday night. One of the artists, Zach Van Horn, it's the first time he's showing at the gallery. And I've paired him with a woman from Dayton, Michelle Bondurant. And, the openings usually get a ton of people. And typically that's where we will sell the majority of the pieces that are going to sell. There are some months that are a little bit different. Our entire inventory of all of the artists is up on, built on Shopify. So you can click and buy. And so this, for the next year, I really have to figure out a way to sort of unlock the online buying of it all and be less reliant on Columbus just for, just have to have a much wider net. But it's hard. Fortunately, I've hired a young woman, Becca, who is just phenomenal. And I'm also stubborn about that. Like, I don't want to do it without her, and there's a cost there. It's running a business, but we'll see. I want it to work. I think I say, like, I love it. I think I'm really good at it. Just have to figure out how to make more money.
Are you 50-50 with the online stuff too?
Yes. Yeah.
It's interesting because I have my best friend's an artist in Chicago, and there's a friend of hers that's a really popular artist too, and she does a lot of work for Kelly Wersler.
Oh, yes.
Beautiful stuff. And, it's kind of the same conversation around having all this inventory and feeling like blocked and like really questioning yourself and your art and trying to figure out how to market it differently.
Yes.
Shannon's been talking about doing this like online auction, or like, how do we figure out how to get this original art into people's hands more?
Yes. And here's the deal. If there was a formula that worked every time, there would be a lot more art galleries.
Yeah.
It's relationship business. And we have some amazing galleries in Columbus. Sharon Weiss, Michelle Brandt, Kenny Galleries, and Art Access and Bexley. Like they're just, if the gallery is not doing well, it's because I'm not hustling enough. That's the answer. So we'll figure it out.
Okay, so back to the book. And you mentioned that the word joy doesn't even come up until the end.
Mm-hmm.
When did you say to yourself, oh, wait, this is chasing joy? Like, when did that kind of come into play for you?
It sounds phony baloney when I say this because I can't even believe it. So the tagline for the gallery, which again, the gallery opened in 2019, is art can be a source of joy for everyone. And someone called me a joy broker once because that's what art is. It like brings you joy. And I think I'm creative and I'm a writer and I'm a branding expert. And so like for the gallery, I was like, yes, it's about joy. But I never actually thought that that is something that I wanted or was seeking for myself. And so through the writing of the book, which I started in 20 and finished and published in 24, I was like, oh my God, that feeling, the feeling that I had in my body when I'm driving up to Cleveland after I'd met with an artist, Amy Pleasant, I was like, oh, that's what I'm feeling. It's joy. And it was like completely overwhelming to realize that. And so then I was like, oh my God, that's what I had been searching for all along, even though that's not what I would have named it.
And when it's Zanesville, right? Where you're from. And so it was San Francisco to New York to Zanesville.
New York, Chicago, New York, San Francisco, back home.
Okay.
Yes.
So big cities, excitement,
yes.
Back to Zanesville. And you knew it would be temporary, probably.
I thought, I didn't know.
But you're like, I'm just going to I'm going to take care of my mom.
Live at the family farm for
her.
a year. And I gave myself a commitment of a full year. And I just gave this advice to another woman who was taking some time off. I'm like, you need a full year to like really regroup. So yeah.
What were the most memorable or like special moments with your mom during that time that you look back on and you're like, wow, in spite of it all, like her being sick, like this was...
Well, there were several, but the one that first popped into my mind, she didn't feel well, obviously, and she wasn't eating. And so you become obsessed when you're a caregiver with the eating. And one morning she woke up and said, I actually feel hungry. Let's go up to that diner and get breakfast. So we go to this diner, and she ate like pancakes with whipped cream and hash browns and coffee and juice. And like she ate more in one sitting than I had seen her eat, in the previous week. And I was so excited and so happy for her. I remember I took a picture and sent it to my brother and sister, like, Mom's good day. She's eating. So we got in her truck. She drove a pickup truck for the last 10 years of her life. And we pull out, and like a half mile away, I hear, her stomach. And I'm like, oh. And she, it's so awful. And she said, Sarah, we gotta go. Pull over. We gotta go. And I'm like, what? Where am I supposed to go? We're still like 4 miles from the farm. Do you want to stop at like the McCutcheons? And she was very private about her cancer. And no, just drive faster. I'm like, I'm driving as fast as I can. Just hold on. And we come around this bend past Fuller's Golf Course, the roads that I grew up driving on. She looks over with a very specific face, and she said, doesn't matter now. And so my sweet mom, dying of cancer, pooped her pants. and we started laughing and crying, and we kept saying, so for the rest of her life, which was short, we kept saying, doesn't matter now. And, I say in the book, in this scene, I watched her get out of the truck and walk into the house, which there's a certain walk that happens when something like that happens. And I just, I had never loved her more.
Right.
So
yeah,
those are moments that you have to find levity in caregiving, because otherwise it's too much to bear. And so we had, we had some good ones, and laughter, even though, we knew exactly what was coming. And she also stopped treatment. So she stopped treatment in January. And then you just wait and you don't know. And that's a particular kind of space, So
Yeah. Especially if somebody who wants to control, like for me, I would think, God, I want to control it. You can't control any of it. And so then especially if you like stop taking, you're like, okay, this is now up to
just the body.
Yeah.
The body. And, I remember, I don't know the exact words in the book, but when she decided to stop treatment, and she was strong-willed, we weren't going to convince her otherwise. And she knew. And in hindsight, I think she knew before she started the first treatment. I think she did the first treatment for us. She said, I feel it in my bones. I feel it. So when she stopped treatment in January, I called a palliative care doctor, and I was like, well, what are we looking at time-wise? I mean, what a horrific thing to try to predict. And they were like 2 weeks to 2 months. And it was a month.
And then where did let's talk about this little love affair that sparked Camillus. Am I saying it right?
Yes, Camillus.
So let's just give the viewers a little spoiler alert on that one too. That you found love.
I mean, I am living at the family farm. My dad had died the year before. I did not have a job. I did not have a home. I did not have a car. I was living in my childhood bedroom waiting for my mom to most likely die. So it was not the best time of my life, Carrie. And
yeah, when you put it that way,
I was like, So my brother, one of his dear friends, and my closest neighbor's cousin, somebody that I had known casually over the years, Camillus, had just gone through a divorce, and he's real sparkly, real charming. And earlier in the year, my brother had said, hey, Camillus is going through some tough shit. You should maybe at least flirt with him a little bit. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, feeling real flirty.
Fast forward to November, and I was like, I just texted him. I mean, I had been out the night before with a close friend from high school, and I drank as much red wine as I could put into my body. So you can imagine how I felt. And I'm driving down the country road, again, in Mom's pickup truck. And then he passes me in his truck. And I was like, that was Camillus. And so I didn't have his number. I got his number from my brother, and I texted him. And I didn't give a shit. I mean, I was like, exactly how long am I going to have to be home before you ask me out? It was 9:30 in the morning, and he said, I'll pick you up in 15 minutes, which I didn't see the text because I was back down in the holler at the farm. Cell phones don't always work. And, yeah. And so
he shows up.
Hello? My mom adored him, as did my dad. And he was like, hey. I was like, hey. I just brushed my teeth, like red wine stains, a hot mess. He was like, come on, let's go run some errands. I need to go buy a mattress. I was like, okay. That was it. Anyway, it's so amazing. And I knew by the end of our lunch and mattress shopping outing, I was like, oh, I like him. And he was like, no. And then
he was like, no, because he had
just too much going on.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
He was just gone through a divorce.
Yeah.
And he had 2 kids, and the timing's off. And I was like, okay. And then I went back to San Francisco to pack up my apartment there. And I was like, I texted him. I said, hey, I'm flying in from, I'll be landing in Columbus. Do you want to grab a beer? And we went to, God, where did we go? I know this. Someplace at Easton, close to the airport. And we sat there completely sober. And I said, what do you think we should do here? And he was like, I think we should go for it. And I was like, oh, okay.
You're like, that's what I wanted to hear, Camillus.
Yes, I changed my voice again. I was like, I'm selling art
You're like,
and trying to date you.
I'm a sex kid.
No, we date.
Hey, Camillus, now we make love.
So yeah, that was the most surprising thing of my lifetime.
And so now he lives in Powell?
He's in Powell. Yeah.
And you're going to live together?
We're talking about it. We'll see. I've never lived with a man.
So yeah, speaking
I
of,
just turned 53. I'm old as fuck, and I'm like a child.
You are not old as fuck. So speaking of, you said that the longest you'd ever dated a man was like 3 months.
I mean, I was not good at dating.
What was wrong? Like, what do you think was so bad about you in dating?
Well, Carrie, it's called the Velcro effect, which I have learned.
Well, Carrie, you little bitch.
No, it's the Velcro effect. This is called trickle down therapy for listeners and viewers.
Yeah.
Especially women, you know who you are. If you feel like shit about yourself, you only seek out partners who allow you to keep feeling like shit about yourself. So you date cheaters, you date men who are unkind to you, you date men who don't appreciate you, and you keep trying like a little puppy dog to get love out of the wrong people. And that's called the Velcro effect. And once you get yourself right, all of a sudden, a kind, beautiful, wonderful man named Camilla shows up in your life and you're ready. And it's like, oh,
this is how it goes.
That's what that feels like. That's crazy.
Not really. I mean,
it's not all like
it makes
Tweety birds and roses all the time. We have our stuff, but
yeah, I don't think anybody's relationship is. When you're in a relationship with another human being, there's going to be problems.
Yeah, but that, for me, when I look back at the other men I had been involved with or tried to be involved with, the common denominator was they weren't good matches for me, because I chose men who weren't good men for me.
So how do you do this different now? How does the self-talk go? Because I feel like if you lived for so long thinking you're a piece of shit and saying all these negative things to yourself, that dies really hard.
Yes.
Even with therapy.
Yeah,
so
patterns are so incredibly hard to change.
So when you get something today where it's like knock, knock, POS.
Yes.
I
basically
how do we do that?
Basically like, not today. We're not doing that today. And I kind of say it to myself. And it's a little bit like, that's not how I'm going to spend my time and energy. And if I hadn't learned to quiet the voice, I wouldn't have written a book. I wouldn't have an art gallery. I wouldn't have Camillus. For sure the negative self-talk would have ruined the relationship, because I would have started picking at him. You know how you can do that? Feel a little bad about yourself, and all of a sudden you're like picking on him.
Yeah. And there's probably
there's a lot of
word for that.
Yeah. So it's not totally gone. It's about managing it and having tools to like keep it in check. I would say some days are better than others. Menopause, again, is really hard, especially for any woman who's had disordered eating of any sort. Feeling out of control of your body it's a hard thing.
Yeah.
So
how are you managing menopause?
I started HRT, hormone replacement therapy, and it's been a great help. I had a lot of pain, joint pain, especially in my hips, and I didn't have terrible hot flashes, definitely brain fog. And there's some of that's just age. So I would say that my symptoms were not terrible, but I started the hormone replacement therapy, and it has like completely, aside from if I work out, like I don't have any of the like hip and joint pain. Oh, did you know there's something called menopause shoulder? I did have that.
Frozen shoulder?
Yeah, I had frozen shoulder for 6 months. And it's like, I was like, what the fuck? Like the shoulder's going to go?
And now it's fine?
Now it's fine. I mean...
But like hormone replacement therapy can be really helpful.
Yes, really helpful. And I am working with a woman named Lucy I really like at Central Ohio Compounding Pharmacy, which I do laugh when you call. It's like, if you are calling about your pet, press 1. If you're calling about HRT, I'm like, great. I call her the HRT vet. And I'm like, what in the hell? But I have friends who love MIDI. I don't know if you've heard about MIDI. It's all online. Anyway, it's just you have to really advocate for yourself and find a doctor who listens and helps.
So what are you most proud of with this book?
Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm proud that I finished it. Publishing, we'll get a drink or coffee when you decide to go, because it is a fucked up industry.
I know, I've heard.
4 million books a year. 4 million come out. So there's a whole thing about getting a deal or not getting a deal. The traditional route is to get a deal. And me being me, I'm wildly impatient. And I know myself. I'm like, I'm just going to publish it myself. And I won't spend too much time on that, but it's fascinating. So, yeah, I still like the gold stars. I still like it that people love the book. I have no idea how people would respond to it. I assume my brother and sister and Camillus would be nice because they love me, and some friends would be nice because they love me. So you have that first circle of people are going to be like, oh my God, I'm so proud of you. It's great. And then you get beyond that and get some reviews and get people sending you emails and notes that, it has surpassed any of my expectations in terms of reader responses.
Does it make you want to write another one?
Yes. Yes, I've started something. It's not like this. It's a little bit quirkier. We'll see.
Is it nonfiction?
Yes.
Can you give us any hints?
Well, the first line is, I'm alone in the house of my body. And it's trying to reconcile how my relationship with my body over the years, thinking that if I write about it and understand it the same way I wrote about my mom and understood my relationship with my mom, maybe by the time I write the whole thing, I'll have reconciled. I don't know.
Interesting.
It's a little weird.
No, I like it.
But yeah.
You're searching, like it's introspective.
Yeah. I'm trying to answer a question. And the question is, why am I still at age 53? Why do I still have this body stuff?
So you body image.
Yeah. Body image. Yeah.
What is your most vulnerable thing with your body image? Like what do you think people see?
That's so funny. It's not what I think other people see. It's just what I see. Yeah. I don't know.
Do you think you have dysmorphia?
A little bit. Yeah. Still.
Yeah.
And I think I'd put myself in like the emotionally healthy category, but I still have the stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And so I wrote I wrote like 5,000 words or so. And what I did is I went body part by body part and like, let's look at that. Really? And then I did, this sounds so crazy. And then I did a score because I'm analytical. I'm like, okay, do you really hate your body? And I went through and I scored each body part 1 to 5. And I was like, actually, you like a whole lot about your body. But I had to like say it for myself and write it down.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
What scored the highest?
Oh my God. I'm not, you're going to have to read the book. It's so funny. I try to write it with humor because stuff is funny. And then I go through the body parts and have scenes of things that have happened. Like my big toe got stuck in a bike chain when I was a little girl at the farm. I was riding on the back of my brother's yellow banana seat bike, no shoes, and my big toe got stuck in a bike chain. Okay. We're a mile from the house. My sister rides her bike back to get my mom. Only in Chandlersville, Ohio would this happen. A big pickup truck comes and this huge man gets out and breaks the bike chain with his bare hands and picks me up and puts me in the truck, the cab of the truck where his wife is. And she has, the Kleenex box, not the upright one, the rectangular flat one. She grabs all the Kleenex and wraps it around my toe. And I watch the Kleenex go from white to red with my toe. Anyway, nobody cares about my toe.
I do.
But as I was thinking about my body and body parts, I have all these memories attached to different parts of the body, and it tells a story.
I think it's really interesting. You'll
It
see.
doesn't really, we'll see.
Yeah, but it's an
It may just be an essay. It might just be a big, long
But you know
essay.
what's cool though? It's like everybody goes through their stuff, and I think when you like analyze it and you get into it, something's gonna come out of it.
Yeah.
You
I don't
know? I
It's
think
fun.
that's awesome. Well, I personally think your book was lovely. I think it was
Thank
really,
you.
really great. And it
Thank
feels
you.
very like, I don't know, big time author shit, you know?
Yeah. We'll see. Thank you. I'm proud of it. I think paperback will come out later this year.
I love it. Well, I appreciate you coming on the show and
Thank you
talking
for
about all
having
these.
me. It's so nice to be in person.
Oh no,
Thank
I love
you.
it.
It's
So
great.
great. All right. If you're still out there following your girl, follow me on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. And until next time, go buy the book, The Order of Things by Sarah Gormley, and keep moving, baby.